There is one problem with its new series. I find it really hard to pass up a good deal. It's the Sydney Grace January 2024 bundle. It's pretty. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is my cool cat coffee mug. In it is a slightly different tea than usual. I think my daughter got me this. Pretty sure. Almost always, if I can't remember where it came from, my daughter got me that. And in a couple of cases, it's one of the daughters got me that, just not the usual daughter. Anyway, so our tea today is a little bit different. I actually made a golden matcha latte. I did do it a little differently. I added some green. I have a green tea that I've used with it. So I've used the Davidson's Organics just tea bags. This is in their vanilla cream spice. Got a bulk box from Amazon for that. Then you do 50-50 milk and water, at least that's what I do, and you add a few other spices. And then the last thing I added to it was the Purechimp matcha green tea. Now, I have tried this blend without the matcha green tea, so we're going to try it with the matcha green tea and with our tea bag is still in there steeping. It is still very hot. You do have to heat up the milk with all the spices, and it has maple syrup instead of sugar in it. It was so good the first time I tried it. So I only added about a quarter teaspoon. The recipe that I based this off of said half a teaspoon, but I remembered my last experience using this matcha here, and kind of decided I wanted to ease in and see how it goes with a quarter teaspoon in this big huge mug. The drink is actually only up to here, so this is like a 3-cup mug instead of 2. Okay, gonna have to give it a taste and hope that we did a good job and we love it. I want to love it. I love the smell. Okay, it's not that grassy greenness that I had trouble with before. It needs a little bit more sweetener for me, so I'm probably going to add a little bit of sugar later, because I'm going to be using this for a bit. And but beyond that, it doesn't have that taste that I was having a problem with the first time I tried this stuff. So might add just a little bit more next time until we find the right amount for 2 cups of tea for me. Other than that, it tastes great and it's kind of a warm. You don't get the spices as heavily, but they're in there. I'm just saying they don't add as much to the warmth, but it's in there. It's another delicate tea, but I like it. I like it. So today we are doing a reading ready, which means the look that I'm wearing is going to be used for reading 2 chapters of Assassin's Choice a little bit later. And we are trying out a new bundle that I picked up from the Sydney Grace. These are 5 of them. 2 of them I gave to my daughter, a black and a brown. If you are interested in this look, if you're interested in Sydney Grace, or specifically this 2024 bundle, that is only for January. My understanding it's $20 for January only. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching. I actually have a plan today. Be amazed. Anyway, so in addition to the Sydney Grace bundle, I'm probably not going to use this brown one at all, but I have plans for these. I have also pulled out the Blend Money Cosmetics Sickly Sweet palette because I need some light colors for underneath my brow, and I also want this really bright blue. So, got some plans. We're going to get started. let's just get started. I'm kind of excited about this. I've heard about Sydney Grace for a while, and it's kind of neat to be able to go ahead and give them a try. I'm cleaning up, sorry. Speaking of cleaning up, I really do need to clean my brushes. I did find some, though, that I was able to clean up pretty well using a shade switcher. But yeah, I really do need to wash my eye brushes. All right, so we are going to start with the Sickly Sweet because this is what has the stuff for under my brow. And I am going to use this buttercream, I think. Yeah, I think that's what I want to go for. Yes, the buttercream. I had to think about it for a minute. As usual, we're gonna fluff that in. I don't mind the green cast. Slightly green cast. In fact, that's actually gonna help with that green shade. I wanna be able to bring that green shade in a little bit. We're gonna be doing mostly a monochromatic look of blues, mostly. But we do have that green in there. And we're already having some loss over here. That's not the eyeshadow's fault. Once again, my eyes are being my eyes. So, slightly green cast. I'm very happy with that. Just slightly green. And we are going to go straight into this. Yes, I'm not doing something in the crease yet. I'm actually going to simplify that just a little bit. Removing one step. Not necessarily a simplification, but we're going to go with it. We're going to get our thing here. And spooch. I'll make sure to get that. And I am going to start with this lighter color here. And I'm going to have to use the Blend Bunny mirror because these were singles. I did have to find a thing to hold them in. They just came in as singles. I'm sure that Sydney Grace has a palette, a magnetic palette somewhere in their thing. I just didn't pick it up. I didn't think about it. And as usual, going about a third. I don't think these colors are going to be very brush friendly. But I don't know. We may find out. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to get the other side of this wet. And I'm going to do the outer corner first. I know. Changing the order of things. And we're going to use that really dark shimmery blue. I'm going to be using this in the crease. So, it's our shimmery blue. They are picking up absolutely beautifully. I'm going to put that on this outer corner. Those two colors are very close. That's interesting. Especially when you look in the pans and they look very different. And it looks like there's supposed to be some sort of shift because there's a different color sparkles in this one. I should have swatched them. Hopefully I'll remember to swatch them. Because you know, we have to go back in time to do our opening. I'm going to grab a little bit more of the lighter blue. And even out this part here. I'm not mad at that. Did I have this too far up for you guys to see? I apologize. I'm terrible at this. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get back into this with that really light blue. I'm debating. I'm going to go ahead and try with this brush. I think I'm going to probably end up having to go to a sponge tip again, but we're going to try with the brush. And that's this Crying Sparkles color. Oh, we're picking up some of the darker color off of this. Oh, that's not going to do it. No. Okay, so yeah, we're going to definitely have to go to another sponge tip. Everything's in blue, so I'm using a separate sponge tip because I don't want to get anything confused. We're going to be confused as it is. All right, so try this again with a sponge tip. And we're just going to put this all in the center. Oh. Okay, yes, that's definitely much better. Very few, I've noticed, brands have shimmers that you can pick up with a brush. And usually when you do, the brush has to be wet, and generally speaking, it's only on the end for the most part. I am crossing over the edges a bit. I'm trying to blend the colors in somewhat. Just, you know, because we don't want these solid lines. We want it to look like they go into one another. Pick up a little bit more and put it on the end here. Oh, I like that. I like that. Oh, I like that. I'm easy to please, folks. So speaking of using the ends, we're going to use the green next. And I'm going to have to use the ends of something. It's one of the flat brushes, but it's a fluffier flat brush. So we'll see how this does. We're going to get the end of it wet, sort of. I'm getting more my hand than the end of this. But we're trying, folks. And we're going to use this green to do the point. So you can see. I am just putting the end in to grab some of that color. And I'm really hoping it's going to grab some of that color, because it's much harder to do that outer point with a sponge tip. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Oh, she's there. She's not as sharp and as deeply pigmented this way as her friends. But that's okay. And I'm going to go down to about the middle of that blue on the inner corner. Oh, and she builds up. Nice. Nice. I like it building up. And you can see it goes with that light color we got out of this palette for under the brow really nicely as well. I'm just going to keep building her up till I get her where I want her. Y'all know me. Love the colors and love them to really show themselves off. Oh, Dommy's happy. I'm very happy. I am so far very impressed. These are doing beautifully. So the last thing we're going to do is grab this really dark, dark, dark navy blue. I had to swatch the black to make sure the black was black. And this was blue. I had to make sure I gave my daughter the right one, because as I said in a previous video, I have a shit ton of blacks. I don't need any more. Okay, so again, I'm just going to use the tip of the brush into that. I can tell you these mats swatched in such a way that I even got my hand wet in water and it didn't come off. I was really surprised. But anyway, so we're going to go to about where the medium blue and the light blue meet in the crease and bring that across. Just a gentle line. Hi, baby. She really is a more of a black blue or a gray blue. Just really, really deep. And of course, we're going to go out. I don't know why I'm tearing up, other than the fact that it's freaking cold in this house. Yeah, she's a really pretty navy. She's a really pretty navy. Oh, that's beautiful. And I'm using the same brush to sort of buff it out, even though I'm adding a little bit more. Get that deep dark color in there. And we're going to try to make it a little bit deeper towards the corner here. I really want her to show up in that corner. Show up in the corner. Just deepen her up. So they build nicely too. I'm happy with this. This was not a bad purchase, folks. It really wasn't. I'm going to brush that out just enough to sort of blend it out. She's there. She's there. I love that blue. I'm just fussing around with it, you know. You don't want the lines to just be solid lines, so you keep fussing with them until they're blended out the way you would like to get a nice gradient if you can. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, this was a really good deal. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my face and hope that my eyes hold up. We'll see how this holds up in here, and we will be back. Alrighty, so here we are with our finished look like you saw at the beginning. I will say these fell apart very, very quickly. It was sort of repairable with the brush. It lost its real beautiful shine when I repaired it with the brush. So to repair it again, I ended up going back to the sponge tip. So this is not a brand I would use on my inner corners on a regular basis. But if they're falling apart again, and we'll get into that, if they're falling apart again, I apologize. But yeah, this fell apart fairly quickly. I was really unhappy with that. And not all of that is my eyes. Some of that is the brand, but here's the look. I have to say, I do love this dark with the shine and then dark again, darker on the outer corners. I know that my wings there were just a little out of control. Trust me, I watched them get out of control. Not what I had planned. Anyway, so let's talk about these. They're gorgeous, okay? They're very, very pretty, these colors. I actually really do like the colors. This brown, I did attempt to put it under my eye, and it literally blended into my skin. So this will be going to my daughter, and I'll just be keeping the 4. Now, like I said, it fell apart much more quickly than I expected, especially for a brand that is, I think Sydney Grace is considered, if not luxury, borderline luxury brand. So I was really surprised at not only how quickly it fell apart, but how persistently it fell apart. I have repaired that inner corner at least 5 times, and it hasn't even been that long. So at this point, Sydney Grace, I won't be buying from it again. The texture of these and the quality kind of reminds me of ColourPop a little bit. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion with their fans, but it does. It reminds me of ColourPop, and I have a ColourPop, so I don't need to find another ColourPop. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty of ColourPop palettes and shades. I've had a lot of buy-ups. I enjoy ColourPop, but I am also very aware that they are not a high-end brand, and I can expect issues like this. I would not expect issues like this from a brand like Sydney Grace, from what I've heard of it. So I won't be buying any more from them. This was a nice tryout, $20. I got 7 shades, I guess it was. I'll be keeping 4. 3 will be going to my my eldest daughter. The Blend Bunny, I enjoy the Blend Bunny. This is a palette that's sometimes hard for me to use. The colors are beautiful, but as you can see, they're kind of scattered all over the place. There's like no rhyme or reason to their placement. And, but the shine of them is really beautiful, and I do enjoy Blend Bunny, so not mad at this at all. But it is also one that I probably wouldn't use much in my inner corners, I don't think. I think I'm going to have to stick with Nomad and, so far, Cosmic brushes for inner corner colors, because most other brands just don't seem to do it for me in that way. All right, so that's it. You have to let me know down below if you're a fan of Sydney Grace. Have you bought or tried Sydney Grace before? Would you buy or try Sydney Grace after seeing these results? Do keep in mind that the issues on the inner corners of my eye is partly me, and I do try not to hold that against the brands I try. However, in this particular case, just this case, it fell apart way more quickly than anything I've ever, it fell apart as quickly as ColourPop does. I mean, it just, almost as soon as we were off, I was off here to finish the rest of my face, I noticed that we weren't just getting the little holes from where I was losing just a little bit on that inner corner. We were getting the big gaping hole that I tend to get in there sometimes. And to me, that it is a brand that I actually do have to kind of hold that problem in against them a little bit, because I have brands that fight that a little bit and work better for repair and work better for staying in place once they need to be repaired. And this didn't do any of that, at all. But if you do not have those kinds of problems, I could understand if you would be interested in purchasing. And just be aware they seem more like ColourPop in terms of the texture of the, you know, when you're feeling them. And I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea. When you're feeling them, they're a little on the rougher end, like ColourPop. They are not necessarily really soft and silky and smooth, and the shimmers do not have that soft, almost mushy feeling that you get. So you see, I kept all the blues. The one matte is a little bit dusty. I tried to use this on the underside of my eye, and it just did not show up. The green came out a little soft too, so maybe all that building up was necessary. Things that make you go, The darker blues are beautiful. Yeah, so that's the swatches. I'm going to stick with Pop. Let's do our swipe. Now, I did say that the black that I tested actually stayed on my skin for a while, so we'll see what happens here. Some of the shimmers are even staying. The green and the lighter blue didn't, but the others did. The dark blue, the brown, and then the matte stayed fairly well. And that's nice. That's not a bad sign. That just goes to show how sometimes swatches do not match up to actual performance on your face. This is something that I would have to take with me and constantly repair the inner corner all night. So yeah, no. All right, so like I said, let me know down below if you're going to be interested in Sydney Grace, if you've bought from Sydney Grace, if you've had similar issues with Sydney Grace being more luxury brand priced with a color pop payout. Just let me know down below. And in the meantime, that is it for the day. And if you've liked what you've seen, I hope you will go ahead and help us out around here and like and share and subscribe and comment down below. If nothing else, go ahead and give me a little purple heart. I would love it. And we're going to go ahead and sip our tea and get on out of here so I can do some reading and you can get on with the rest of your day. Okay, so the tea itself, the Davidson tea, is getting in there, and I'm getting a bit of that vanilla in there, which is helping to bring up the sweetness. But I still think she needs a little bit more sugar. I like my tea sweet. I like it sweet and creamy, and this really kind of works with that, as long as I can sweeten her up where I need it. Anyway, as usual, we have to say, I love my girls. I love my dragonettes. Hope you have a good one.